Did you watch the opening arguments by Jamie Raskin, head of the House impeachment managers, during Trump's trial this morning? Boy, if that didn't leave you with a feeling of, I'm not sure how to describe it, sadness, anger, disappointment, this is how I felt. In addition to the sadness and the anger and the disappointment, just shock, especially that video that Raskin showed at the very beginning that was a compilation from various sources of the riots and the violence that went on. It was, in terms of a video production, not the subject matter, but in terms of a video production, it could not have been better as a piece of evidence. And it would seem to me that's the only witness that this trial needs. You know, I keep hearing that, and a matter of fact, it got me upset that the Democrats were not going to call any witnesses. I think all that's necessary is that video that was shown today. You know, I may laugh about it, but you talk about a sense of, I don't know, desolation about what has happened to my country, your country, this country. On top of everything, we have this psycho son of a bitch that we have to deal with still. This horrific bastard Donald Trump. Man, oh man, the COVID-19 virus, all of this stuff. But watching the opening part of this trial, I wish this trial carried with it a death penalty. I really do, and I wish the Senate would find him guilty. But it just left me with this feeling of just foreboding and doom and just unable to gin up any positive feelings about what's going on. Do you feel that way ever? Regarding all this bullshit that has happened over the past 4 years and especially over the past year? Is there anything else that's going to hit us? And all of this, every single bit of it, can be traced back to the Christian Fascist Party and its filthy head of state, Donald Trump, and the gangsters who support him. These idiot boys who run around in their pretend military garb, saying they're going to rescue the country. You dumb fuckers, you mean rescue the country from you? You're the ones doing this. Oh, wait, that's right. I forgot. Black folk and some of their white allies were out demonstrating last summer about justice and freedom and equality. That's right. My bad, you bunch of cucumber bastards, you. I can't seem to snap out of it either. I was watching this. It started this afternoon about 1 o'clock. I'm recording this. It's around 5 in the afternoon. And I watched it long enough until Trump's lawyers gave their opening statements as to why all this today was about whether or not it was constitutional to impeach this to try this filthy son of a bitch, Donald Trump, even though he was impeached when he was president. And Jamie Raskin's opening salvo was just, it couldn't have been more to the point, more loaded with proof about what this filthy animal tried to do to this country, Donald Trump. He called on senators to convict Trump and not allow what Jamie Raskin called a January exception. How about that? We have the October surprise now. If this pig bastard Trump had his way, we would have the January exception. That means future presidents are not held accountable for their actions in their last days in office. Ooh. Wouldn't that be a mind fuck, huh? Really? This is what Raskin said, quote, "Senators, this cannot be our future. This cannot be the future of America. We cannot have presidents inciting and mobilizing mob violence against our government and our institutions because the president, refuses to accept the will of the people under the Constitution of the United States. Much less, Raskin went on, can we create a new January exception in our precious, beloved Constitution that prior generations have died for and fought for, so that corrupt presidents have several weeks to get away with whatever it is they want to do? History does not support a January exception in any way, so why would we invent one for the future? End quote, Jamie Raskin. And you have to remember, Raskin just endured a horrific personal tragedy. I think it was New Year's Eve. I think it was. But he opened the trial's formal arguments early this afternoon with a deeply emotional appeal to senators. Well, he was making the case that they had not just a right to try this gangster son of a bitch Trump, but an obligation under the Constitution to do so. And Raskin is a former constitutional law professor. And his opening argument had senators sitting in rapt attention. I couldn't see it, but I'm going by published reports in the Senate chamber. Because that video forced them to relive the result of the assault on the Capitol on January 6th. And then Raskin laid out the constitutional reasons he said Trump must be tried. I don't, having Trump as president has shown me some of the most horrifying aspects of the powers and privileges of the executive branch of government. Powers and privileges that never would have been misused until a filthy, just slimy, walking garbage like Donald Trump showed up. But there had better be some changes made. I mean, consider the next Christian fascist president, if there is one, and what he or she might try to do. Jamie Raskin, by the way, lost his son Tommy to suicide the week before this rampage, right around New Year's. And he brought the urgency of what he was talking about home with chilling detail. And at one point, if you watched it, he was speaking through tears. And he narrated the events of January 6th through his own eyes and those of his daughter and son-in-law, who had gone with him to the Capitol that day for moral support, as he was going to help manage Congress's counting of electoral votes. And he became trapped in an office off the House floor as these filthy son of a bitches who should all be tried, convicted, and executed. These son of a bitches who attacked this country. I mean, seriously. Oh, I know that's a radical, out of my fucking mind kind of a statement, but I don't care. I really don't. That's what I truly believe, that the people who did this, what motivated them, what their plan was. I realize that my position and legal consideration and what the fuck am I talking about, I understand. But the emotion around this for me is very surprising to me. I didn't know that I could feel such contempt and disgust for fellow citizens. I don't even like to call them that. The scum, this walking garbage that attacked the U.S. Capitol. Man, where was I? Raskin recalled what he said was, quote, the most haunting sound I ever heard, end quote, as members of this filthy pro-Trump mob pounded, Raskin's words, like a battering ram on the doors of the House chamber. What did these dirty son of a bitches want, the ones that were pounding on the doors of the House chamber? Did they want to come in and have a cup of tea? Did they want to petition the government for redress of grievances? Or were they looking for people to intimidate and beat up and kill? Raskin recalled, quote, all around me, people were calling their wives and their husbands on their cell phones to say goodbye. Members of Congress, at least on the House side, were removing their ID pins so they couldn't be identified by the mob as they tried to escape, end quote. And Raskin recounted having apologized to his daughter after the riot subdued, saying her next trip to the Capitol would have to be better, and her reply was that she never, ever wanted to return to that building. That's what these filthy white people did. That's what these filthy, rotten mounds of filth and garbage did. You think you're patriots, you little fuckers? You're below the worst possible traitor to the United States. If you dig 100 feet below that, you'll find your nest, you scum. Raskin said this, quote, of all the terrible, brutal things I saw and heard on the day and since then, that one hit me the hardest, that his daughter saying she never wanted to return to that building. Senators, he added, this cannot be our future. This cannot be the future of America. We cannot have presidents inciting and mobilizing mob violence against our government because they refuse to accept the will of the people, end quote. And that emotional appeal came after Raskin laid out a lengthy and very easily understood legal argument. You know, I thought I was going to get lost in the arcana of, past or historical incidences in the U.S. Congress, or a president or someone impeached or this or that or the other thing. It would be citations of all these infamous cases and Supreme Court rulings and horse shit like that, which just I can't stand because it's so unnecessary. These son of a bitches tried to overthrow the government of the United States, led by the worst piece of shit ever to occupy that office of president. I don't know what any discussion is about here. Innocent until proven guilty? Yeah, okay. Horse shit. Not in a case like this. Are you kidding? What more proof is needed? Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com. And never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.